I always believed trust was the foundation of marriage. My wife, Emma, used to say the same. For years, I thought we had the kind of bond that could withstand anything: late nights at work, family drama, financial stress. But lately, things had shifted. She had started dressing differently, paying more attention to her hair and makeup, and suddenly, every Friday became her no guys allowed night with her girlfriends. At first, I didn't think much of it. Everyone needs time with their friends, right? But the more these nights piled up, the less time we spent together. And worse, her explanations started sounding rehearsed. One Friday, curiosity gnawed at me. She had told me she was going to a wine bar with her girlfriends. Something in her tone, too casual, too careful, made me uneasy. I decided to quietly check. I drove past the wine bar she mentioned, expecting to see her laughing with friends. But she wasn't there. I waited 30 minutes, and still no sign of her. My stomach dropped. I knew then something was wrong. That night, she came home smelling like expensive cologne, not wine. I didn't say a word. My silence was louder than any accusation. I knew if I confronted her, she'd just deflect or lie. So instead, I decided to play the long game. If she thought I was clueless, she'd get comfortable, and when she did, I'd be ready. The following weeks, I planted my traps carefully. I synced her phone to an old tablet she'd forgotten about. Every message, every call, every sneaky photo came straight to me. What I discovered burned through me like acid. Emma wasn't spending her nights with girlfriends. She was meeting a man, Tom. A gym trainer. Their chats were filled with flirty texts, hotel bookings, even jokes about me being too boring and predictable. The betrayal cut deep. I had given this woman my best years, my loyalty, my soul. And this was how she repaid me? But instead of lashing out, I smiled to myself. If she wanted to play games, I'd show her how revenge truly felt. The next Friday, she kissed me on the cheek, all dressed up, and said, "Girls' night, love. Don't wait up." I forced a smile, told her to have fun, and pretended to be the same clueless husband. But while she was gone, I set everything in motion. I printed the messages, the hotel receipts, the pictures of her and Tom kissing. I slid them neatly into an envelope and placed it on the dining table, right where she'd see it as soon as she walked in. But I didn't stop there. I also transferred half of our savings into a separate account under my name. I contacted a lawyer earlier that week, explained everything, and had papers ready for when the time came. I wanted her to come home to the wreckage of the life she thought she could control. Around midnight, I heard the familiar sound of her heels clicking against the floor as she entered. She looked flushed, her lipstick smudged just slightly. She tried to glide past me with that fake smile of hers, but then she noticed the envelope on the table. "What's this?" she asked, her voice faltering just a little. "Open it," I said calmly, sipping my whiskey. She hesitated, then tore it open. Her face drained of color as she saw the texts, the photos, the receipts. Her hands trembled. "It's not what it looks like," she began, but I cut her off. "Don't insult me, Emma. I know everything. Every girl's night, every hotel room, every lie." Tears welled up in her eyes, but I wasn't moved. For once, she wasn't in control. "Please, I can explain," she whispered. "Explain what?" "That while I worked to give us a good life, you were sneaking off to some gym rat? That you laughed at me behind my back, calling me boring?" I leaned forward. "You didn't just cheat on me, Emma, you mocked me. And for that, I'll never forgive you." She collapsed into a chair, sobbing. "It was a mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen." I chuckled bitterly. Mistakes don't happen every Friday night for months. That's a choice. And you made yours. She looked at me, panic in her eyes. "What are you going to do?" I slid another envelope across the table. "These are divorce papers. Already prepared. I've spoken to a lawyer, and I've secured my finances. You'll leave this house with what you brought into it. Nothing more." Her jaw dropped. "You can't do this to me." "Oh, Emma," I said coldly. You already did this to yourself. She begged, pleaded, even tried to touch my hand, but I pulled away. I had already mourned the death of our marriage weeks ago when I first saw the messages. Tonight wasn't about anger, it was about closure. The next morning, she left with a suitcase and tear-stained cheeks. Tom didn't come to pick her up. From what I later learned, he wanted nothing to do with her once he realized she no longer had a stable home or finances. Her so-called friends? They distanced themselves too, ashamed to be associated with her mess. As for me, I rebuilt my life. Slowly, but with peace. My revenge wasn't just exposing her lies, it was showing her that I didn't need to shout, fight, or break down. I simply walked away, leaving her to choke on the ruins of her own choices. Because sometimes, the coldest revenge isn't fury. It's silence. And when she went to her no guys allowed night, she had no idea the guy she betrayed, the husband she underestimated, was waiting with the kind of revenge she'd never forget.